Welcome to the Becoming Lovely podcast. I am your host, Olaoluwa, and this is the Kingdom Women Do Hard Things series. And today I have a special guest who I don't think I have enough words to fully describe, so I'm going to let her intro herself. But yeah, she's she's also my friend, and just an all-around amazing woman. So introduce yourself, please.
Hi guys, my name is Mica, and yeah, that's me. I'm Mica.
Hi. Okay, so we decided to do something a bit different, and we are currently filming in the same place today. We're trying to make it work. Today we're talking about something quite interesting. We're talking about doing the hard thing of like exposing comparison and jealousy, having hard conversations and all of that. You didn't intro yourself, so I'm gonna intro you myself. You are what I call a well-being psychology babe. Am I correct?
That sounds good, yeah.
Okay, so
Sounds
tell us a bit about what you do.
Oh my god.
And where people can find you and all of that stuff.
What do I even do? So I do a lot of different things. I work part-time as a assistant research psychologist in a university, and outside of that I do like mindfulness and mental health workshops. Yeah, that's what I tend to do.
How long have you been doing that?
I've been working in psychology since I graduated, really, like 2015. And then I started doing more like freelance projects. I want to say, well, I feel like I've been doing them, but like not properly until 2020, Feb 2020, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's fairly recent.
Okay.
I've been doing them on and off before, but I would say now it's more like...
It's like a full-fledged sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, short questions. These are just going to be the first things that come to my mind. Batman or Spider-Man?
Wow, Spider-Man.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel you. I understand.
I do like Batman though, but Spider-Man is like... You could be friends with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's cool. Oranges or mangoes?
Mangoes.
Fajita or burrito?
Burrito.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like rice.
Okay, that's clear. I was gonna do rice or pasta.
Oh, okay.
Rice.
Rice.
Okay, cool. Favorite music or favorite musician?
Favorite musician? Glory. Musician?
Yeah.
I don't know if people are gonna know.
It's okay.
My favorite
they might go and
musician,
find them afterwards.
But I don't know if he can. I mean, he does play instruments, but it's more like electronic. But I like this guy called Banango.
Okay. Good. Is he just like sound, or is he a singer?
Sound.
Okay, like background music.
Yeah.
I feel you.
It's good vibes.
Dresses or trousers?
Trousers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideal holiday destination, and don't say Amsterdam.
Why did I say Amsterdam?
Because I know it's on your list.
I've been there already.
Yeah, I know, but it's like something that you want to do.
I want to go to Cuba.
Yeah. Ooh, you want to be a señorita. And do, well, that's South America. Okay, cool. So, we introduced the topic. We said that we're going to talk about jealousy and comparison. And I think it only makes sense to go there myself, and then like we can like bounce off each other and do that whole thing.
Let's go.
So I think that with comparison, it's not even something that I realize I do consciously.
Yeah.
It's kind of this undercurrent. And it wasn't until I think it was 2020 when I realized I was comparing myself to a lot of my friends, who looked more spiritual than I was, or I think especially in the business world, like doing that comparison work against Oyi, against other females in the game, because I'm like, am I supposed to be more like that?
Yeah.
And I think it came from not really knowing how to just turn up in the room
As yourself.
as myself.
Yeah.
So for you, like, is that something you can resonate with? And also, like, getting to a place where you identify and know what to do with it. How do you do that?
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of layers there, isn't it? I mean, one thing that I was thinking of while you was talking is like just how natural it is. Especially in terms of like, let's say if you're going into business, then it's like a new area where you're trying to like grow and you're trying to find the ways to be successful. And the natural way to do that is to be like, okay, what has this person done? How's this person been successful? And then like try and model yourself after them.
Yeah.
And I think that is the most natural thing to do, because that is how we learn to survive in the world.
Interesting.
Like from when we're younger,
Yeah.
like we learn by imitation, isn't it? We watch our parents and then we learn the skills
learn to do that, yeah.
to survive.
So
I think it's like
it feeds
a
into
follow-on
that.
from that.
Right.
And I think on some level that's healthy, because that's how you learn, isn't it? That's how you like develop new skills. You're like, that's what I need to go forward. But then the other side of that is, instead of like encouraging you, it makes you feel
crap.
Yeah, it makes you feel small and inadequate, because it's like, that's what I need and I don't have that. Therefore, like, I'm not good enough.
Okay, yeah.
Rather than it's like, how can I say? It's almost like you want to be able to...
It's supposed to inflate you, but
inflate you to be able to do it in yourself. Like, not become them.
Right, but take what it is that they can do, like, and
be encouraged to be yourself.
Okay.
And grow in that. But it's hard to do.
It is.
And it's hard to do that separation, because you're looking at someone and you're like, they are the package.
Yeah.
And I just need to be that package, and then it will be fine.
That's interesting. I do actually want to talk around when comparison goes wrong, but I'm just thinking about, you actually posted about comparison a few months back, and you were talking about like what that was like, and not realizing that you yourself had been doing that.
Yeah.
Can you explain a bit more about like how you came to that place where you realized, okay, this kind of comparison is more detrimental than it is healthy?
Yeah, because it's when you kind of start to idolize people.
Okay.
And then it's like that thing I was saying of feeling like you have to become that person, when it's maybe like attributes that you admire in a person, but like they don't belong to that person. If that makes sense. So sometimes you're like, this person, it's so powerful. Like, I need to become them to be powerful. When it's like, the powerfulness is an attribute, and you have that inside of yourself too. So then it's like looking inwards and like, okay, how can I nurture that in myself? Because it's an attribute. It doesn't like just belong to them. And I think that's the separation that I was making.
Right. Do you feel like you're able to separate every time comparison comes up? Just out of curiosity.
No, because I think, like you're saying, like it's unconscious. You're not like consciously doing that. It's like it's a process that's happening unconsciously, and then I think at some point you kind of notice it when you ask yourself, actually, why am I doing this? Why do I even care? Yeah, and then you start to reflect and you're like, that's what's happening inside me. So I think it is difficult to notice, because I think it, like I was saying, it's the natural thing. Like, you look at what's around you and you're like, how does that relate to me?
Right, how do I do that? Because I know I need that.
Yeah.
And I guess to an extent, comparison comes from knowing that you don't have something and looking for how you can become it or where you can get it from. Because you likened it to how children, follow what their parents do, monkey see, monkey do, that sort of thing. And I guess that's actually kind of true because, I was having a conversation with my friend one time and I said to her, I find myself in relationships with very powerful women, know what they want, know how to communicate what they want, don't have a problem communicating what they want. And I was saying to her, I don't feel like I'm like that. And she was like, no, you are like that. That's why we get along. That's why you're able to, that's why you're drawn to us and that's why we're drawn to you. And I didn't see it like that because the whole time I was thinking, all of this is outside of me. All of this is outside of me. So it's not inside of me. It was interesting. And then I think that was like an aha moment because I was like, oh, so I have these things. I'm attracted to them because they do it better than me in some cases, or I'm just attracted to what I like because that's what I'm like is drawn to like. And then I realized, oh, okay. So technically, I've been comparing myself against what I have. So I'm no longer inadequate. Actually, I have it. I just need to build on what I have.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of the picture that you're painting. So let's talk about when comparison goes wrong really quickly. So what happens when comparison goes wrong? Because I think we've talked about it a little bit, but the whole idea of building expectations of yourself based on everybody else's strengths or looking at yourself like I'm inadequate because I'm not that. Like, how do you do the work of reversing that when you've been doing that? Because I think you're quite a woke babe. Like,
oh my gosh. I think for me it has helped to like focus on understanding what my strengths are. I'm just that I feel like I don't know, it feels quite cliche to say, but it's like you have to start with knowing yourself. Like, what are your strengths, what are your gifts, right? And then lean into those. And it's interesting because I feel like part of the solution that I want to say is then you find, let's say, the right kind of models to look at, because sometimes I feel like the comparison is because you're comparing yourself against the wrong things.
Go a bit deeper. We like that.
Yeah,
we like that.
Like, I don't know, let's say, I don't know what a good example is.
So it's like trying to be a pear when you're an apple.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And you're like, I need to be an apple, I need to be like this, I need
You're
to
both
be
fruit.
like this. But it's like, you're not a pear, like you're an apple. So like the thing that I want to say to do is to find apples, right?
Okay.
But then you end up in that, like even in that, like you're still comparing, but like the effect of the comparison is different. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because it's almost like you're comparing in your own likeness. So then it's like in that scenario you are inspired to grow because you're growing in the direction of yourself.
Okay.
Whereas when you're an apple surrounded by pears, you're trying to grow in the direction of being a pear.
Okay. I can definitely identify with that.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like you were a pear amongst bananas or an apple in the midst of pears?
I feel like that all of the time. I felt like that for literally a lot of my life. And I remember back when Tumblr was a thing.
Yeah.
I was expressing this on Tumblr. I think I was in college or something, and I was like, no one around me gets me. Like, no one is. I just feel like I'm so out of place. And I remember this girl replied to me, and she was like, maybe that's like just your environment now, but let's say when you go to university, you'll be hopefully surrounded by more different kinds of people, and you won't like feel that as much.
Okay, yeah.
And I feel like I held on to that. It's like, okay, maybe in this space, like, these are not, it's like the ugly duckling story, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
These may not necessarily like be the models for me.
Right.
But it doesn't mean they're not out there.
Yeah.
So I feel like where I haven't been able to find it in my environment, I found it elsewhere. So I think this is why the internet is good as much as it gets a lot of shtick. Like, it's good for being able to broaden your circle so you can find more people that like resonate with you or that represent you, so to speak.
People that
I feel like that's what the internet did for me growing up. I can't lie.
in essence, it's like finding your tribe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or your people.
Yeah, you have more scope to do that. Or even if it was just like books. Yeah, if I found in one book that sounded like it was my head, I was like, okay, that's it. That's all I need. I just need to know that. Like, I don't know what the right word is, but it's like something exists that is in the shape of me somewhere. Okay. And that has kind of grounded me in those times where I felt like an apple amongst pears.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you something random, but I'm trying to create a picture here. If you were a love child of any 3 people, who would your parents be?
Wow.
I was thinking of mine while we were talking.
I feel I need to think about that. Oh, God.
I can think of at least 2 people.
Okay, tell me yours.
Okay, I think that I would be the love child of someone like Brene Brown.
Okay, yeah.
Because she... let me list all of them and then I'll give reasons. So, a Brene Brown, I'm going to say Oprah. A Brene Brown, Oprah...
Okay.
T.D. Jakes sort of mashup. And the reason why I would say that, okay, all of them are all communicators. Yeah. So that's the strongest. I think that I'm always looking for ways to communicate myself. Yeah. Communicate expression, communicate things that I'm learning and stuff like that. I think Oprah, because she is inquisitive, she studies, but she also is interested about people's stories. Yeah. Brene, because she does like the broad stretch of being able to chronicle why people do what they do. Yeah. She's like a really strong researcher, but in a different sort of way. Yeah. And I think a T.D. Jakes, because somehow everyone can relate to him, even though he is a Pentecostal mega church preacher. Like, I think that no matter what walk you come from, if you hear a message by him, there'll be something in that you can yeah. And also he creates movies, he's an entrepreneur, and I feel like I vibes with that. You know what I mean? Business big. Yeah, the business aspect of things. And the thing is, I think 2 out of the 3 are business people, but it's kind of not like businessy. Yeah. It's not like startup business, it's like creative business, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's what I would say. I don't know if I gave you enough time to think
I don't, I was listening to you.
Sorry.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know who my third one would be.
Would it be like James Brown? Not James Brown. Not James Brown. James Baldwin.
I do like James Baldwin, but I don't think I'm his love child. I do feel that he's my uncle though.
He's definitely in the family somewhere. Yeah.
I want to say... Alright, we put Jackie in there.
Yes.
I like Jackie.
Love her.
I feel
Jackie Hill Perry.
I feel like Jackie is
Jackie is your mama.
Yeah, yeah.
And they both got locks as well.
I feel like if I didn't discover Jackie... I feel like Jackie gave me permission to be... Christian as me. Yeah.
That is big.
Yeah.
We're about to start going down a rabbit hole and I'm going to let it happen.
So when I say Jackie, and then I want to say, the only name that I have is Bell Hooks, yeah? Okay, I feel like that is in me, but it hasn't fully manifested yet, but
she's there.
It's the writer, babe. It's the writer, babe. Maybe that's an aspiration, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know who my third one would be.
I was going to say Baldwin, but yeah.
Because I feel like Bell Hooks is also good, because she says, sharp stuff, but she's nuanced, but she talks softly.
Right.
Do you see what I mean? It's very good.
I think people would read her stuff and think she's like... So people don't always think that she's a radical feminist. I don't think she would identify as that. I think some of her rhetoric may come across as that if you don't really study like the things that she said. But like you said, she encompasses a femininity that incorporates being able to say your mind, but also not fitting into this like box of what being feminine or expressing femininity should look like. So
I feel like, I don't know if C.S. Lewis is in there, but I like him.
Oh, scrap Baldwin. Yeah, put C.S. Lewis in there. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's giving you essays, but he's also giving you stories.
Yeah.
It's giving us Narnia. And like that is in me as well.
I hear that. And I think that C.S. Lewis is really powerful because I think he made being an intelligent Christian okay. Because I think because for a season people thought Christianity was for people that don't reason.
I used to think that.
Right? Like it's for people who aren't very intelligent. Like you resort to Christianity when you can't come up with answers, right? But then you come in with, you think of a C.S. Lewis, who there's a bunch of them that all went to, was it Oxford or Cambridge?
Yeah, one of those.
And like they were all writers and really intelligent individuals who communicate the mind of God in such a powerful way that is still relatable. And I was like, yeah, like who doesn't want to be smart and like know how to reason their faith?
Yeah.
But it doesn't reason away the faith part, but it helps people reason out their reasons for faith.
It helps to communicate it.
Yeah. And I think that's necessary for sure. For sure.
So I guess the common thread, they're all writer babes.
The common thread, they're all communicator babes. Well, except for TD he's not. He's a man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
those are my immediate answers.
I like that though. I'm gonna keep that question. I'm gonna keep asking.
Question.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we've talked about when comparison goes wrong, and I think that you can't really talk about comparison without also treading into like jealousy and what that looks like in relationships or friendships, romance. Because I think that when you're delving into doing that hard work of the mindset stuff or exploring where the comparison is coming from, realizing you're a pear and you're amongst a bunch of oranges, like what do you do? What happens when you become jealous of the pear you become jealous of the orange in this example. If you're a pear amongst oranges, what happens when that jealousy almost consumes you, or you're just looking for a way to not feel that?
Yeah, I mean, it's given self-destruction.
It's like, get out of there, sis.
But then, you know what I'm thinking of? Like, in this scenario, it's very, like, we're focusing on the pear, right? But, like, the oranges also exist in community with the pear. So then there's, like, that level as well. Like, what are
Speak to that,
encouraging in that person? Does that make sense? Like, are you encouraging the pear in their difference, right? And so I'm thinking about this movie that I watched on Netflix. It was very good. I forgot what it's called, but it's a kids' film. I like to watch kids' films.
Was it the Emotions movie?
No, it was about a bird. It was about a robin. I think it's called Robin. It's a Christmas movie. It's about a robin that grew up with mice. Right? So the mice,
this is like Mowgli on a different level.
It's a great film, and it was a musical, and it was only like half an hour, but they did so much. Anyway, so it's about this robin that grew up with mice, right? So the mice, you know what they'd be doing, they'd be scurrying into people's houses trying to find food, and the robin is trying to do that too, but the robin is not a mouse, do you understand? So it can't really scurry.
Yeah.
So it's trying to scurry, and then it's like knocking into things, doing all of this
They're
stuff.
getting caught
and
because of him.
It never flies because it's trying to
Mm.
be a mouse.
Wow.
Right? And then it goes through this whole journey, then at the end, the robin starts to fly, and it's like, actually, instead of scurrying, how about I fly around and I'll be a distraction? So then the humans are looking at me, and then the mice can scurry in and take the food and go. So then at the end, it's like he learns how to be amongst them while being himself.
Oh.
And they encourage him to do that
Yeah.
by the end, right? Because now they're encouraging him to fly, and, he's being himself. He's using his strengths to, help them steal food.
I feel like you're preaching to me. No, but I love that. I think that there's something about also taking ownership when you are, like, no matter how big the community is, taking ownership of encouraging other people to be themselves in the community, even if that looks like or is different or unfamiliar with what everybody else is around you. I think that's really, really important.
Yeah.
And what tends to happen is quite the opposite. People make you feel bad for not being able to scurry, or feel bad for not being able to move around quite quietly. But dude, you can fly.
Like literally your own person. Because it's so natural to just become try to become what's around you. Like it's the most. It's like I was saying earlier. It's literally how you learn, by imitation. You just do it unconsciously. And I think about, this is a bit of like neuroscience, but like
do it. Tell us.
I don't know.
Caroline,
if you know
leave
this
us.
thing about like mirror neurons,
Yeah.
So you have these mirror neurons, so that if you raise your arm, it makes me also raise my arm. Because my mirror neurons are there for me to mirror you. Does that make sense? And that's how you get like imitation, and that's how you learn. Because it's like, you're doing this, it's like, I'm doing this. You're chopping with the knife, and it's like, okay, me too.
Right.
And that is the function of that. So it's like, if you're around people, that is what is naturally happening. I guess that's why we have all these sayings, like you become what you behold and all of that. Because it's literally like
the science of
that is what you're made to do.
You're made to imitate.
So like you end up trying to do that just naturally. So then if people are making you feel bad for failing in that, like it's not gonna work. But like if the person that you're trying to imitate, let's say, is encouraging you in your own difference, then that's a different kind of feedback.
Okay, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, I've got one last question for you. This is so good. My question was around, what are some of the things that you learn, like the mirror neurons? What are the things that you learn, that you, like, top 3 things that you have learned that you've had to unlearn because you're like, it's not really... It's not working with the shape that I am, or this isn't working with the type of fruit that I am.
I guess the things that I've learned that have been helpful is, like you were saying earlier, to kind of like find your tribe, so to speak. So it's like to make sure somewhere, like, there's a community that I can go to that would reinforce like who I am. Basically in my difference, so to speak.
Okay.
I would say that's one. And I would say, like, I put in the Instagram post, like, understand, like, the things that you aspire to in other people don't just exist in them. Like that. That is a big one.
That's good.
They don't just exist in them. And I think that I put in the post that, like, those attributes you admire in other people are attributes of God, right? So you have to look to God first.
Yeah.
Because God is
God first.
The only person you need to compose. Like, you're made in His image.
Yeah.
Like, that is the only image that
you should be
you
trying
need to look
become,
at.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, if I admire, I don't know, like, what's an admirer thing? I don't know.
hair.
I don't know what God's hair is. Listen, okay, let's say...
If you admire someone's level of creativity.
Yeah, like, God is the creator. Do you
He's
understand?
he's the greatest
So
creator.
it's like, I'll take that to God, right? God, help me in this capacity. I'm in your image, therefore I must also be creative.
Yeah.
So like, help me to
Bring
manifest
out,
that.
Yeah.
And that's,
I love that.
that's it. That's not free, but like, that's what I have.
It's not. And I think, would you say that's like the only thing? Are there other things that you've had to unlearn?
Not that is any different, to be honest. It's literally just learning, like, the way that you do things is okay. Like, there's not one standard way of being, you know? Everyone is different.
Yeah.
You have different energy levels, you have different skills, you have different abilities. Like, you have different ways of approaching the world. And it's just, like, being okay to exist in that and know that, like, it's meaningful and it's not for nothing. Cause, you know, that uniqueness, let's say, is for a reason.
Right. And also know that you don't need to be... So, for example, everybody starts in seed form, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as a pear tree is growing and as an apple tree is growing, you wouldn't know what they're going to become.
Yeah.
I think giving grace to, like, giving space for that as well, knowing that actually you may plan to be a pear or a pear tree, but you've got apple in you.
Yeah.
And make space for that, so not being like fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think it's, I don't know, it can be hard on like social media and stuff because maybe there's a particular image that is that you see more often, and I think that's where this becomes like important. You have to kind of know yourself and be like, that's good for them, but like
it's not working.
It's not
here.
necessarily for me.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I've had, I guess this is a kind of unlearning, but it's the same kind. I guess it's a specific example that a couple of months ago, I was reflected on how like all my life I've kind of been like, you know what, I would be a good person to like be behind the president, or like I would be the person that advises Oprah. But I don't have to be Oprah. Do you understand? But I felt like I have to want to be Oprah.
Right.
And then more recently, I've just been like, no, I don't have to want to be Oprah. Like I would advise Oprah. Yeah, that's a good position for me. That's where I actually would be best suited, and I don't have to want to be that. It doesn't make me like non-ambitious or something.
It just means that you play a different role, and this is the thing. When I talk about this a lot, I was having this conversation with Oyin as well, like, because in the business world, you're a certain type. You like, people praise a certain type of business person, and then the other business people that are like different or would want to do things but don't see that in the examples that already are. What I remember what she was saying is like, actually that's probably the problem with most industries, and everybody just needs to find a way of being themselves in the mix.
Yeah. Because
we'll all realize that actually there aren't that many oranges.
Yeah, but then that's the thing about the community aspect as well, because then let's say in business, if you're trying to, I don't know, sell to a population, but that population now only believes that one specific image is valid, then that's gonna obviously hinder your ability to thrive as yourself, because then you're getting that reinforcement of, well, why you're not this, you need to be this. So I think it's needed on both sides. Yeah.
I'm going to let this end here. I think this is the sweet spot to end the conversation. We'll let them ponder.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you.
Let us know where we can find you. Where can we find you? Are you on Instagram?
I'll be on the gram. That's where I'm mostly active, to be honest. At Mica Montanna.
Yeah.
So it's Mica. That's how you spell Mica.
Yeah, she's got some amazing projects coming up as well. Wait, can we say that?
I mean, yeah.
All I can say is she's making space.
Hey.
You know, she's making room. That's the tip. I got one tip for you. Thank you so much again, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this conversation, if you have some comments, comment below, let us know what you think, and also share and tag us in your story on Instagram or tag us on Twitter. Thank you again for tuning in to Become Whoever